Alright, we're gonna do a little video here. Been moving my rocks here, and I've had some things on my mind. Let's set this up here. So many of you out there have been talking about not being able to do certain things because you live in the city. You can't really grow your own food, or you don't have the advantages of living out on a homestead like some people do, like myself here. And I do find myself very fortunate. Now, the thing that I want to talk about is that people should be stockpiling food. And I'm not talking your MREs, your SHTF meal plans. I'm talking like real, actual food. And that's for a couple reasons. One, the increase of food prices. And if the food prices aren't going up, the containers are getting smaller. You can see that happening all over the world right now with the food shortages. And if you're not aware right now that farmers are being paid, are asked to destroy their crops and to be paid 1.5 times what they would be getting paid to destroy their crops. And if they don't destroy their crops, they get zero. That's happening right now in the States. And if you don't think that's going to happen up here in Canada, well, I'm sorry, I can't really help you on that one. But you got to look at what's going on in the world and the economics and how things are playing out. And for those people that have their head buried in the sand, I don't know what we could do for you. The supply chain's breaking down. You can see that with lumber. The guy down here in the city, he says he can't get any lumber here till August, I think he said. And this was like 2 weeks ago, and we're just in June right now. So what else is coming up next? They got cargo ships being diverted in the United States because they can't get through some canal because it's got some work. So they're getting diverted all the way to, I believe, New Orleans. So one thing for people that are in the cities that are saying that they can't do certain things, when I lived back in the city, I noticed there was a couple communities out there that had community gardens. And this gives you the ability to grow your own food. And not for just yourself. It could be for a group of people. And you yourself don't have to have the knowledge on how to do this. You just have need the drive or the willingness to learn and to do physical labor. And I know that's out of a lot of people's vocabulary these days is physical work. And that's just because of the technology that we're given these days. It's made our lives easier. It's made our lives a lot more comfortable. And people have become comfortable not having to do things. Quick note on that. If you think about it, we are the only species on Earth that does not live, or that cannot really live anymore in their own natural habitat, hence the forest, or anywhere outdoors really for that matter. Now, growing up as a child, we had a garden. And it wasn't because we didn't have a lot of money, but at the same time, it was a way that we were raised to offset food costs. And if you can offset food costs, why not? Why wouldn't you want to do that? And a community garden is great to do that. And so we grew potatoes, we grew corn. Corn has gone up, I believe, 30% just this year alone. So what's coming down the pipeline with everything that's going around? So offsetting your food prices is going to help you drastically save money and beat the inflation prices that are coming up. Now, yes, community gardens take a little bit of organizing to do, and and the setup is the longest time, or the longest timeline that'll take you to get things ready. But even if you're in the city, these things can happen. I've seen them with my own two eyes. So I know community gardens happen, and you can make a perpetual cycle around, because you're allowed chickens in the city as well. And so it's a very easy way to do. And it only takes about 30 minutes a day to take care of everything once you have everything set up. And if you have a community, now you can designate who's doing what while you're going to work. And say someone's retired, they can take care of the garden during the day until you're at home, and then you can go out and water in the evenings, because it's usually better to water in the evenings anyways. And you don't want to water in the middle of the day like this, because the water is going to evaporate before it even soaks into the ground. And it's also a great feeling to grow your own food. Now, I've done it in the past, and that was when I was younger, about 11, 12 years old, and I absolutely hated it because I didn't understand it. However, now that I'm out here and our greenhouse is starting to produce some salad, and we have our own garlic and our own onions and stuff like that now, it's really phenomenal, and it's a great feeling to be able to go out there and grab your own food, and you know how it's grown and what's in it, and the taste actually is just night and day. Some will say, yeah, but that's hard work. Well, starving's hard work also, and if you don't believe me, you should ask someone that came from the USSR and ask them how how it was to feed their families and not have anything. So yeah, hard work is something, a part of life, and if you don't like hard work, well, then you're going to starve, and you're going to really hope that you did that hard work and put in effort. Just like anything in life, you need to put in that work, and if you don't put in the work, you're not going to get it. And if everyone's doing it, it's not going to be that hard, you know? If you have a group of people, a community of people that are in there helping you, everyone's taking a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and helping each other out, it's not really that hard. Sorry, just checking on the goats. Now, in the city, you can, just to go touch back on something, you can really do a great permaculture cycle in the cities using chickens and rabbits. So what you do is you have the chickens and the rabbits, and they're gonna go to the bathroom, and you're gonna collect that. Now you're gonna compost their feces and all that stuff, and you're gonna eventually put that back into the garden to put nutrients back into the soil. Plant your seeds. Your soil's now enriched with natural fertilizer, and you're gonna grow some great crops. And when you harvest those crops, now you have crops for yourself, and anything else left over, you feed back to the rabbits or to the chickens. And with that there, it's a perpetual cycle, and it's something that you can do really easily in the city. So this notion of people thinking that they need a certain setup, they need to be in a certain location to get things done, it's wrong. I know right now firsthand, my mom, she's got a couple gardens going on in the city, and at a couple other people's properties, and you know, like, it works. It works. She doesn't have the chickens, but you know, growing your own food till this day, you know, it's been like, I don't know, 20 years now since we used to have the garden, and they're still doing it this day. And my grandmother too, she's been doing that too since as long as I can remember. And when you grow your own vegetables and your own food and everything, now you get all those macronutrients. and all the nutrients that you need to for your body to grow, and those things that you need for your body to move and not to feel sore, and it's natural medicine too. And your protein, well, your protein, if you have your chickens or rabbits in these community gardens, well, you can rotate them all through every year, and now you're offsetting your meat costs too. And I'm telling you right now, we've had rabbits here for a couple months now, and the first litter is 7, and we're gonna wait till they're about 5 pounds in butcher weight, which is only about 3 months, and I'll have a second batch of rabbits coming in through. So if you're thinking about that, in 3 months I'm gonna produce 35 pounds of rabbit meat. That's gonna be pretty pretty good savings instead of going to the store, and it's going to be organic food too. Now, you're also going to want to plant your root vegetables, and that's where you're going to get all your calories from. Your radishes, your potatoes, your carrots, all those things. That's where you're going to get your calories from, and you can can those. You can make those things last. You need to stockpile food right now. Because things are gonna get pretty tight up these days, and people don't even realize it. Learn about companion planting. Companion planting is something that I was never taught, and I've been looking in that, where one vegetable or fruit helps another one to grow, or one prevents an animal coming around that'll kill another vegetable plant or something. So look into companion planting. It's something that's pretty remarkable, and something that I even just came across, and I've been planting for a number of years. So it's something to really look into. There's different ways of growing things. There's you can do hydroponics in the house. You could also do there's so many ways these days. You can do like microgreens even nowadays with LED lighting, where it's not going to cost you much power. Because in the sociable collapses, the best practices are food, shelter, security, and transportation. So if you have food, you need shelter. If you have shelter, you need security. And transportation, well, that's, in my opinion, a luxury if you're in a social collapse, because you kind of want to stay put and hold down. Now, if you have your head in the gutter and you're thinking, yeah, Andre, you're just talking a bunch of nonsense here. Well, and when the time comes, I'm just going to go and take it from those said people who have it stored. Well, those same people that have their food stored, well, guess what? They're called preppers, and they're preppers for a reason. And if you don't think that they, if they were smart enough to store food, I'm pretty sure that they've been smart enough to store some sort of protection from people coming to take their food. So you might want to think twice on that one. You only got one life. Now, is it worth it to go and take something because you were too lazy to do something? Or because you had the mindset that you thought, hey, I'm just not wanting to put in the work, which a lot of society is like that nowadays, especially now that people are working from home and don't have to do certain things. And it's one of those things that you really got to keep in mind now, because things are going to get worse before they get better, and you can see it coming down the road. Well, I think I got to go back to moving these rocks here. I thought I'd just take some time out here. It's been going on in my head here. So get your food storage ready, because I don't want to hear it when SHTF does happen.